Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. It is a cold, wintry day, an ideal day to sit next to the fire and have something of a philosophical conversation in relation to a question which has been sent to me by a gentleman called Terry. I'll tell you exactly what Terry has asked and I'll give you my observations. Don't forget, if you want to ask me a question, drop it into the email section. I'll be delighted to try and get back to you. So Terry here, this is exactly what he says. Like yourself, I am a well-groomed, well-dressed, middle-aged man. I consider my personality to be quiet, reserved, with a dry wit. I enjoy what I consider to be the finer things in life. Good music, good whiskey, good cigars, nice cars, fine clothes, and I treasure my peace and quiet. What I find is that this tends to confuse people who can't understand why I am different from the majority of everybody else who are just the opposite of me. In fact, it even puts some people off and they ignore me or write me off as an ancient relic who doesn't fit in with the current times. Have you ever dealt with this? Do you have advice for dealing with this attitude from others? Well, first of all, Terry, thank you for dropping me such an insightful question and one which touches on, I think, the challenges of being a modern individual man in this modern world where conformity is valued over individuality. And you asked a question. Have I ever dealt with that attitude where people look at you because you're a little different to them and they kind of say, this guy's a bit weird, not going to bother with him? Well, sir, you've just summed up my life. Here I am. It's the middle of a working day in the normal world and I am set next to a campfire in the woods in the southern countryside in England. That hopefully answers your question. I get what you're saying. I get it from the outset. And I've got some observations here based on my own thoughts, basically, which is how I approach situations where people tend to write me off or maybe think differently about me because my character traits are not the same as everybody else's. Now, what I tend to do when people kind of write me off as the strange left-of-centre guy who likes to go his own path while everybody else follows the herd, well, what I do, I embrace my uniqueness as a strength. And rather than seeing my tastes, my core values, that I have taken a hard-lived life to earn as something which alienates me from everybody else, I see it as a sign of my discernment, that I distinguish myself by being a little different from everybody else. I follow my own path. I don't feel the need to follow the path which is beaten down by those in front of me. Now, those of us who tend to lean more towards individuality than conformity, we are often misunderstood. There's no two ways about it. People will often see those who have their own personality rather than following the group. They see us as a little bit of an outlier, maybe a little strange. Many might see us as a threat. But remember one thing. The rarest, most valuable gems are the scarcest, that are hardest to find. So think of it like that. Your personality might set you apart, but it's what makes you strong and different and interesting from the crowd who are pretty much all locked into their sort of mobile devices, following the trends, buying the clothes, doing the things, seeing the movies that everybody else does. They're afraid to go their own way. Now, a little bit of actionable advice for you here, which I was thinking up while I was waiting to talk to you. I would say, wear your differences with pride. All right? Remember, they signal your distinguishing features and they demonstrate your self-confidence to the world, that you're not afraid to be different to everybody else. Remember as well that in so living this way, you are setting the example for the authentic life which so many people would love to lead. I mean, I know the life that I lead, somewhat unusual, it might seem, right, to other 55-year-old men earning my living the way that I do in lots of various little income streams, spending my spare free time out in the woods at one with nature, talking to people in a camera. People think that that's odd. But you know what? I am glad to be this role model. I am living my own authentic life. I have a son, and I hope he looks at me and says, well, my father, he's not working in an office doing the 9 to 5. He's cutting his own path. He's doing his own thing. He's his own man. And if I feel that that's a good role model position to show others, so should you. It is a strength, Terry. It is not a weakness. Now, my next bit of advice for you, Terry, is to seek out like-minded individuals who can come on your life journey alongside you. Because if the mainstream culture in your area of living, wherever that may be, right, doesn't appreciate your finer qualities, remember, there is always a niche for people who have highly focused interests. And finding those niches is the secret to unlocking a more enjoyable life. Traditional paths, like you talk about, enjoying, what did you say, enjoying whiskey, enjoying cigars, enjoying cars. These are the perfect niches to look into, to find those like-minded individuals, just like you, who appreciate those things. All right, you will find whiskey tasting groups, won't you, who come together maybe even infrequently, once a quarter, once a year, whatever. But people will come together with that shared interest. There will be cigar lounges, cigar aficionado groups. Now, admittedly, these tend to mostly be in larger cities, all right? So you may have to travel a bit of distance. But nobody said getting the most out of life is an easy path. You've got to put a bit of effort in. Watch aficionados. Right now, there is a global group called Red Bar, right? Even where I live, there are 2 Red Bar groups, which are gatherings of watch fans who come together, bring their watches along and just talk and chat about them. They're 2 within short distance of where I live. I say short distance, within 50 miles, right? One's 20 miles away, one's a bit further. Look into these things. Find out vintage car appreciation groups, right? There's so many things within the niches that you mentioned. Even the sartorial appreciation, which you say you enjoy. The Nirvana Club, which we've cultured here through this channel. We have regular meetings where we bring people together with sartorial interests in mind to have a chat, bit of banter. And to be honest, when we come together, we rarely talk about clothing and style. We just enjoy each other's company and chit-chat about our life journey. So remember, right, bit of actionable advice for you. Do not focus on, worrying that people maybe ostracize you or don't bother with you too much because you've got different interests to the average ordinary folks who like going to the pub and getting boozed up on weekends or incessantly talking about bloody football and other sports. Now, I like a bit of sport, but for some people, it becomes a messianic obsession and it's all they can talk about. And I find those sort of men utterly benign and boring. It is the man with your interests that I find very interesting. So invest your energy into finding groups of people who will appreciate those characteristics that you have cultured, the knowledge that you have. Do a bit of research, get some things in the diary, make the leap, go to find these groups, and certainly a piece of the world will open up to you, which maybe you hadn't thought about. And finally, Terry, my last bit of advice for you is learn to be comfortable in your own skin. The very fact that you wrote to me suggests that the fact that people are maybe not so appreciative of you bothers you a little. And it would anybody. We're human beings. We are a herd species. We like to be accepted by the group. But some of us, some that they might call Sigma males, we like to step back a little, watch from the distance and interact when we feel is right. But be comfortable in that. Be comfortable in your own skin. Because remember, quiet confidence, which people such as you and I tend to exhibit, it's a very attractive trait to many people in society. They like people who perhaps are prepared to go their own way, who don't feel that they have to conform with normality. People who are authentic in the way that they live their lives. And always remember, authenticity is incredibly magnetic to people. You think about the great leaders of the past, and in my country, there's no greater than Winston Churchill, a man who was a total bag of flaws. He was a depressive, arguably a functioning alcoholic, short-tempered, a very morose man. But he had many redeeming qualities, which has led to him being considered by many to be the greatest Briton citizen of this country of all time. So just remember, authenticity. Live your life the way that you want to. And if other people don't appreciate it, well, sir, say bollocks to them. Who cares what they think? It's really about what you think. Enjoy your life. Never feel the need, though, to alter your characteristics, your qualities, to meet the expectations of anybody else. Stay yourself. Stay authentic. Feel comfortable in your own skin. Live the life that you want to, and others will follow. You have a magnetic quality. You may not realize it, but the sort of guy you are, that quiet confidence, deeply appealing to those around you. And living as a gentleman of distinction in this fast-paced, noisy world where everybody is connected all the time to the latest trends and they all want to be seen to be up-to-date and modernist. Well, living like this is a little difficult. But remember what I said. The most precious gems are the ones which are the hardest to find. That's what you are, sir. A precious gem. Live the life that you want to. I am, and it's working out for me. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. You can support the channel by buying me a coffee, one-off thing, or if you want to become more involved and come on the journey with me to Chap Nirvana, you can join my Patreon group. Costs a tiny amount of money. And when you join that, the link to which is in the show notes below, you'll get the extra videos which I craft exclusively for my patrons, and you get exclusive access to me as well, should you want that. So, until the next time, quiet confidence. It's the way to live. Take care.